I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, it's us. Oops, the podcast here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Francis. He's Julio, and here we go.
Yeah.
Lot of stuff to cover today.
Love it.
We are in the middle of summer now.
Love coverage.
Once you pass the 4th of July, you think maybe you're on the home stretch.
Yeah, this morning's like the beginning of a Spike Lee movie when they're like, it's gonna be hot this week. There's like a radio thing, and then you see all the characters in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Bathing in fire hydrant.
That's it. There's one Spike Lee movie that is the case in.
It's Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing, really. Yeah, which I haven't seen in a while, but I would like to watch again.
That's a movie we quote in my household.
Really?
Yeah, my dad goes, extra cheese is $2. Danny Aiello always says that.
Fun.
And then there's another part where the guy says, put some mozzarella on that motherfucker and shit. And we have a debate as to whether or not he's saying on that motherfucker and shit or on that motherfucking shit.
Ooh. Well, you know what you could do is you could throw on the subtitles.
That we may have to.
And then get a sense.
We may have to. Dude, we got a great email that I think you're really going to enjoy.
Please lay it upon me.
I shall lay it upon thou. This is called Deer Encounter Ruining My Reputation. And dude, you guys know about my deer story where I hit the deer and the cops didn't believe me, that whole thing. I talked about that on a past episode.
That was great.
And that was crazy. That is shit compared to this. That is garbage compared to this.
I can't wait.
This is so good.
Oh dear.
Hey Fran and G, I have a pretty unusual situation and need some advice in restoring my reputation. Anyway, I live in a middle-sized town in Pennsylvania, not super tiny, but most people around my age seem to know one another. Recently, a friend from college had come to visit me and we were out at a bar. After a pretty fun evening, we were heading back to my apartment. By the way, I'm 25 and I live in the same town I grew up in, but in my own apartment. On our way back, we heard a terrible shrieking noise adjacent to the sidewalk we were on. Sadly, what we discovered was a deer had tried to jump over a fence and got caught on razor wire on the top of the fence.
Oh, no.
It was not pretty. My friend and I did not know what to do, but based on what we saw, I won't go into the details, there was no way this animal was going to survive. We decided the only humane thing to do was to put the deer out of its misery.
Okay.
My friend and I got the deer off the fence, and I applied a blood choke as a way to put the deer down.
What? a what choke?
I just picture this guy choking out the deer, dude. Giving the deer a sleeper hold. Dude, it's fucking crazy. It's just crazy for so many reasons. You're just choking out the deer. Fucking fuck you, deer. You're going down. Don't fight this. Not to mention deer are covered in ticks. Like that's like not a good thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've never even held a deer. Certainly haven't waited for it to tap out. I don't.
Dude, the idea of him like just fucking trying to choke out the deer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
No,
much.
dude, I'm down to keep talking about this because this there's a lot more layers here, so we can take this.
Well, then let me take a break.
Yeah, let's take a step at a time here.
If you were in this position, how would you kill the deer?
I would shoot it, or I would just leave it on the fence.
You don't have a gun.
How else? I mean, maybe like kick it off.
You break its neck. That to me is.
How do you break its neck?
You could figure that out.
I don't think I could.
Yes, you could. You can get.
It's not as easy as Steven Seagal makes it look, dude.
Do you use your arm as like a sort of almost like a brace? And then you're just snapping its vertebrae. Yeah, that to me is quick and less jujitsu-y than a chokehold. I don't know where a deer's breathing tubes are. I wouldn't know how tightly to squeeze. I wouldn't know. Now it's thrashing around. Its hooves are scrabbling across the pavement.
I mean, dude, maybe you get some plastic wrap. Like I was joking around.
Oh my God! You would bag it?
Maybe, I don't know.
No. It's got to be a broken neck. And I would even say broken neck, right? As quickly as possible. Quick snap, dead. right? And if that's not available,
Go get a baseball bat and bash it in the head. I
I
mean, that's
hate to say
terrible,
it,
dude.
that to me is more humane somehow.
Choking it out.
But I would be so scarred from that experience either way.
Dude, it's incredible how much better this gets.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Dear
Unfortunately.
reputation ruining my dear story ruining my reputation. Keep
Okay,
going.
a blood choke is a way to put the deer down. Unfortunately, the deer began shrieking wildly at this before being put to sleep.
Go figure. I wonder why.
This attracted several girls who were going to other bars and who started screaming at us that we were murdering the deer. What are you guys doing to that deer?
Well, he is.
He is.
Yeah.
We tried to explain what had happened, but they didn't believe us and ran off. Anyway, after that, we ended up covered in deer blood, which we didn't realize, and were traumatized. We felt we needed to go have a drink to decompress. We went back to so it sounds like they didn't realize they were covered in
Dude,
deer
I
blood.
won't even go to a bar if I have mustard on my shirt. You want to talk about deer blood from the deer that I just killed
Dude,
with my bare hands?
dude, so
Okay.
I know. We went back to the same bar we were at before. By the way, it sounds like they weren't aware of how bloody they were, maybe. Maybe
Okay.
they like wiped, like, I don't know. We went back to the same bar we were at before. Within 15 minutes of being there, a fight broke out, which cleared the bar and had the police arrive. Because we had deer blood on us. Because we had deer blood on us, the police fingered us as being involved and put us, despite our protestations, in a squad car.
Oh my god.
When they took us outside, guess who was there rubbernecking? Yep, that's right, those same girls from earlier. Also, as an added bonus, I recognized one who knew me somewhat from back in high school. Long story short, the police officer only released us when he drove to the spot where the deer was, thinking he was calling our bluff, and looked in disbelief at the animal. Anyway, I know that there are rumors about me floating around as some kind of deer sacrificing satanic bar fighting lunatic. And I've become slightly infamous in town. What can I do to correct the record and regain my reputation? Dude, I think you just did. I think you've just fully redeemed yourself.
Yeah, what an amazing, amazing story. Oh my god.
Dude, what the fuck, bro?
Dude, imagine hearing that as a rumor.
Dude,
You know, there's a rumor going around that there's a guy who
Dude.
is a deer sacrificing, Satan worshiping, bar brawl starting lunatic.
and they're like, Christine saw him.
Yeah.
Christine saw him choking him
She
out.
actually knew him in high school.
You
He's
saw
a
it
pretty
bleeding.
mild guy, but you never know. You never see these things coming.
Dude, that's a crazy
Apparently
one.
played a lot of Call Her Duty. Call
Her Duty.
Not
Call Her Daddy and
It's
Call of
Her
Duty
Daddy,
combined.
Call of Duty.
Dude, that is
Call Her
fucking
Duty.
insane, bro. Absolutely insane. I mean, dude, that is too fucking funny.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Amazing story. But it does beg the question. I mean, first of all, what sort of a guy can do that? What sort of a guy can put the deer out of its misery
So, dude, I'll say this.
and in that way?
In my town where I'm from, where people are very well acquainted with deer in various ways. That sounded weird. That sounds like people in my town bang deer. No, they do. Like, people hunt and they know how, like it's not weird in my town if you find a deer dead on the road to take it home and like make steaks. out of it.
Yeah.
And probably in Maine, I'm sure. So if you have that kind of familiarity with deer, I guess it would be easier to figure out how to kill it with your bare hands too, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but dude,
And also they were on foot.
you're out for a night on the town going to bar hopping. You're wearing a nice outfit. You're hoping to get laid.
Right.
Are
Yeah.
you in the mindset really of being Mr. Humane Society, animal rights, jujitsu expert?
So here's why the answer is yes. They were going home.
Okay.
They were going home.
So
Like
they had given up on trying to get laid.
they were done for the night. They were walking home, saw the deer. The deer thing was so traumatic. Like, that was crazy. We need to have another drink. So they went back.
Okay.
But I agree with you. At that point, I hang up the night. So
I just feel like, I just think that there are so many different ways that I would have handled that whole thing, and his quick willingness to do the way he did means that this guy is one step away from being a serial killer. Come
no
on.
good deed goes unpunished, dude.
He peeled it off of a razor wire fence, laid down next to it, presumably wrapped his legs around it, and then choked it out.
It sounds like, by the way, it worked. They choked out the deer. They choked it out. The girls caught them doing it. Even though the deer was fighting it, they successfully choked it out.
Do you think that he took his thumbs and pressed them against the deer's Adam's apple? Like, or do you think it was more of a rear naked choke?
I'm about to
straddling
apply.
the deer.
He put blood choke in quotes, so maybe that exists on the internet.
Look
I'm
up a
looking it
blood choke.
Blood choke.
Is that? I mean, I'm hoping it's not where you just like.
Dude, it's literally where you
Yeah.
you wrap your elbow around their neck.
It's a headlock.
A headlock.
Type
It's like a
choke.
noogie.
Yeah.
When your cousin used to give you a noogie. That is what a blood choke is.
Oh man, I wonder how long you have to hold that for.
Holy fuck, man. This guy is a legend. That is crazy. But you
That's
think he's a serial
insane.
killer. I mean, dude, the deer was clearly in agony. Like, it's not like he saw a deer and was like, haha, this would be funny to fucking murder it.
I know. Okay, so then maybe I don't want to discredit him. I guess yes, in theory he did the nice thing for sure.
Dude, how funny is that? He emails us for suggestions on how to kind of be saved, and you just double down. You're like, this guy needs to be watched out for.
I just think I just don't know. I do think the neck break is something I would have figured out. Okay, I have another way.
Okay.
Did they have a car?
They were walking.
Oh, then never mind.
You run it over.
Well, you put its head down under
Right.
the tire and then back the tire over it.
How the fuck did they get it off the bar? By the way, that must have just like ripped its guts out.
Yeah, not good.
Like, remember that scene in Silence of the Lambs where he like hangs the guy up from the ceiling with his guts hanging out?
Ooh.
It's like that kind of situation. It's like an anime,
Yeah, not good.
like blood flying. Jesus, dude.
Oh,
That is nuts.
yeah. Well, fucking hell.
Well, it sounds to me like you need to relax. You know, you got a lot of stress, which I think is why one of our new sponsors is going to be just the thing you need.
Who's that?
Feel CBD.
Feels CBD in the nick of time. In the nick of time. We got this incredible CBD company to come with us, and boy, I've got to tell you, I have been jumping into the old CBD pool a little bit.
It's really awesome. If you go to feels.com/oops, you can get 50% off of your first order when you become a member. They ship monthly CBD shipments to your door, and they even have a full-on CBD concierge so that you can call and sort of like make sure you're getting the appropriate dose.
Yeah.
They're available all the time, and you can call and try to figure out just how much you need to be taking and all that.
They have this awesome thing called the Flight. It's sort of their starter pack that lets you assess what your threshold is, what kind of taste you want. It comes with a 600, there's the 600, the 1200, the 2400. One is 40 milligrams, one's 80, and one is 160 milligrams. So that like different strengths, and you can kind of try. They want you to start with the middle one, and frankly, you know, this is what I will now be using instead of how I was often using marijuana in the past to help me sleep. This is what I will be using to help me sleep.
Like as an alternative.
Yeah, and I think it's a much healthier, clearer way to do it. CBD isn't about what you feel, it's about what you don't feel. And as you said, for me, that's stress, anxiety, pain, and the lack of sleeping ability.
Right. And this really helps, especially, you know, winding down after a long day, your stress, it really kind of like gives you a jolt in the right direction, being able to relax and kind of like let your day go.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And remember, if you become a member today, you're going to get 50% off your first order when you go to feels.com/oops and sign up.
Yeah, that's feels, FEALS.com/oops to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/oops.
Dude, so Francis and I spoke on the phone last night. Francis I really enjoyed that call. I like that whenever we kind of like think of something we want to share with each other, we give each other a ring,
Yeah.
have a little chat. Francis is like, I'm going to tell you this. And he was like, I'm going to save it for the pod. He goes, remind me to talk about Indian food.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, my God, dude.
I've been looking forward to this. I've been wondering
All right.
what the hell's going on.
So last night was rough. So my girlfriend went out for a work dinner, and when I have the night in the apartment to myself and she's gone, I get excited because I get to watch whatever I want. And there was a Stanley Cup final game on with our good pal Alex
Oh, man.
Killorn,
Bless his heart.
who is playing out of his mind, by the way.
You guys
He's
are a star, dude.
Really playing well. He's got like 17 points in the playoffs or something.
I don't know if you guys remember during our really unique little stretch, Oops, the Pandemic pod, when we had 3 episodes a week for a second because we had nothing else to do. And we had a ton of guests. Yeah. And I always forget who those guests were.
Yeah.
He was one of them.
We had Nikki Glazer. We had Tom Segura.
We had the guy from Manchester United, Jesse Lingard.
Oh my God,
remember
that's
him?
right. Yeah. Definitely a little janky on the technology. It was all Zoom episodes or whatever, but those kept us alive. So thanks for sticking with us through that. Alex Killorn, my buddy from college, came on. He's now plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They won Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They're on their way.
Fucking awesome.
And by the time this comes out, they may have already won. I hope. So, I'm excited to watch this game. I'm excited to watch. There's also Clippers. Suns Western Conference Finals game going on. So I got a whole night of sports ahead of me. And I did do a little Potsky Pansky.
Okay.
Smoked a little weed. Just the old vaporizer. First time in 10 days. So
bongs away.
But not crazy bongs away.
Yeah.
Not crazy bongs away. And I ordered a bunch of Indian food. $88 worth of Indian food for myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's a heavy lift.
And what kind of stuff? Like straightforward, like chicken tikka masala, or like?
Buddy, I ran the rainbow. I went chicken tikka masala. I did a lamb biryani. I did a chickpea kind of yogurt appetizer.
Yum.
I did another chicken dish that was incredible. And I just, like to have variety. And then, of course, I have it as leftovers. So it lasts me a couple days. So all of this arrived. I spread it out across the little coffee table in front of the couch, our white couch, which I've talked about. And I thought we have these sort of set up kind of TV dinner stands that are a little bit higher and make it easier to eat from. But I was like, you know what? I just don't even want to bother with that. I'll just be careful. I'll just be careful.
Oh no.
So this is the crazy part. This is what's so bizarre. I'm taking everything out of the bag. I'm opening these containers and I'm like, you know what? I can't just eat this stuff straight from the containers. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I need a plate. I need a central surface upon which to assemble my meal, which will minimize the likelihood of collateral damage.
And not to mention too, dude, with this kind of food, it's like saucy.
Yeah.
So like the inside of the cover, the sort of plastic top has all this moisture on it.
That's it.
And sometimes when you kind of take that out and you put the food on top of the plastic, then you'll get some residue on the table and you get some masala all over the fucking place.
It's a minefield.
It's a mess, dude.
And it's a minefield. Now, chicken tikka masala, the sauce, might as well be a dye. It might as well be a coloring agent you might use to paint a house. It's that potent. It's that dramatic in its coloring. So, of course, is the crown dish of the whole
getting that rice all
gathering.
soaked up in that.
And I was picking up a couple pieces of chicken. Now, I'm eating, I'm slowly eating, and I'm so hunched over the assembly of food that I'm actually uncomfortable. Like my back hurts. My back is at a 30-degree angle off.
That sucks.
If flush to the coffee table is 0 degrees, I'm only 30 degrees off of that. Not even 45. It's a very acute angle, my spine to the coffee table. And I'm now thinking to myself about a bit where I text my girlfriend while she's out for the night, "Hey, babe, no need to worry, but any chance you could tell me where the Tide pen is?" And as I start giggling because I'm thinking like, what worse text could she receive while she's at a dinner of work people from me? Like, clearly I've spilled. It's like texting your mom, like, "Hey, mom, no big deal, but like, what's the nearest hospital?
Where's the fire extinguisher?"
Yeah, like, what's how do you set a broken arm or whatever?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this whole text exchange, and I'm thinking about like writing it out as almost like a funny dialogue scene in a sketch or something. And I'm not kidding you. As I was thinking of this, I brought a piece of chicken masala to my mouth, and the juice flung across everything and landed on the couch.
Right on the white couch.
Now, it landed right between kind of the two pillows.
So it did double damage?
A little bit. It's not face up. It's in the crack.
Yeah.
But but it's definitely there, right?
Mhm.
And it's bright red. It's neon red. Red orange. And I did this and I looked down and out loud I went, "You got to be fucking kidding me." Because I was thinking about this scene and it was the most art imitating life moment.
Damn, dude.
I was so asking for it.
You truly were.
I had completely telegraphed this move. So immediately I push the coffee table gently away. I put the food down. I stand up and I run to the drawer. I get some hot water going. I get it under a rag. I do the twist sort of dab motion with the hot towel, and then I Tide pen it like crazy, wait till it sort of dries an hour, and then do it again. And I had this in the bag. I had flipping the cushions back
Yeah.
so that they would be under the back support cushions and she would never see them
Mhm.
until enough time had elapsed that the statute of limitations had passed. And she could not necessarily know that it was my spill.
Right.
It might have been a guest,
Who knows what happened?
a savvy guest who had covered their tracks. So my problem was that I was high and I left the Tide pen out, which is the, keep in mind, I didn't text her about it.
Evidence.
That was just the joke.
Right.
I left the Tide pen out, which is the bloody knife.
Yes.
It's the bloody knife. She comes home. She sees me melting into the couch. Not even a hello. Sees the Tide pen. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Gig was up. Didn't have a
Yeah.
choice. Showed it to her. Instantly, she goes into full combat mode. Gets the OxyClean going, boils a tea kettle, sterilizes her needles, cauterizes the wound, local anesthetic, calls in the air support, all of that, the medevac, and she did a great job. I think she was very measured in her sort of, clearly you shouldn't be eating this on the couch.
Yes.
She knew I was upset about it and felt really bad. But I also think that if you recall from the first 2 weeks that we were dating, when she knocked over an entire decanter of red wine
Yes.
on the carpet,
Of course.
which she then treated, but even so, it's stained through to the wooden floor, which leads us to
where we are today.
the security deposit lawsuit that we're embroiled in. I think knowing that, now we're back to even a little. So she couldn't get too mad at me, but I don't have any more bullets in the hole. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. It sucks you had to burn it just on like a drop of masala.
I know. I could have put a fucking elbow through the wall.
I know. And you just,
I had a bigger explosion that I could have dodged. But that was it. That's all I get.
Well, dude, it's going to be a big weekend coming up. I think, are you going out of town?
I am.
As am I. And I'm
Where are you headed?
I'm going to Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, a little Chicago action.
Lot of murder.
Going to Chicago, the burbs.
I got to tell you, This might get me in trouble, but finding out that cities have a high murder rate makes me respect them more. Just makes me think they're gritty, that they're set up for a good crime drama.
I think that the thing that people like neglect to realize with a lot of that though is sometimes the crime is very contained to specific areas.
Yes.
And the crime rates might be really high there, but like the city itself might not be that dangerous if you stay out of those areas.
That's true.
Whereas other cities, if you make a wrong turn, you might be fucking toast.
Could be. Chicago, one of the most lovely cities on earth. I absolutely love it there. I know that up by, where the Cubs play and all of that's really nice and safe. And then down where the White Sox play is where it starts to get a little more dicey.
A little dodgy.
South Chicago.
South side.
But
well,
dude, those areas and cities tend to put forth phenomenal culture. I feel like out of adversity, wonderful ferns and art
rich
grows.
culture.
That part of
eventually.
the city yielded or cultivated Kanye West and Common and Chief Keef. Yeah. Is this a hot take?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure about what Common and Kanye's backgrounds were.
I think
know
they're both
Chief
from
Keef
the
is
south part
definitely
of
from the south
Chicago.
side. Is Kanye too?
Yeah.
I don't really know. Yeah, it makes sense.
The last thing I'll say is this. When I say I respect them, it's like you think of, did you ever watch The Wire?
Not really.
The Wire,
I
the
heard it's really
grittiness
good.
of Baltimore and sort of the drug areas is what made that show so great. And that show made me respect Baltimore more.
Interesting.
And sort of, I don't know. That's my take.
Well, dude, I am looking forward to, having some outdoor drinking afternoons and some BBQ. And dude, I'm super excited to crack open a Stewart spiked seltzer.
Oh, baby.
Dude, did you even know that they were making these?
I did not.
So I don't know if you guys remember, like when you were a kid, like there's a specific memory that I have going over to my pal Nick Torelli's house. His house was always stocked with sodas.
Nicky T.
You pop open that fridge, and there it was: the Stewart's root beer, the Stewart's orange cream, the Stewart's black cherry.
Oh my God, was he a billionaire?
I know these sort of fancy old fashioned sodas.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that they've sort of taken that, and as an homage to that, they've created a sort of parallel spiked seltzer experience.
Yeah.
The Stewart spiked seltzer. And they have all three of those flavors, as well as they've added a raspberry lime flavor.
Unreal.
And dude, they're absolutely delicious. They're light, refreshing, 100 calories, gluten-free, vegan, the whole 9 yards as far as health stuff goes. And it's just a sparkling, refreshing, light, guilt-free treat to really intensify your summer experience.
Yeah, 100 calories per can, 0 to 1 grams of sugar. So it's very not overly sweet or unhealthy.
Stewart Spiked Seltzer is currently available in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Colorado.
So get in touch with your nostalgic side, guys, and crack open a Stewart Spiked Seltzer this weekend, any summer weekend coming up. Get your hands on them because there's nothing like the good old days. You know what I'm saying? In a nice can.
Dude.
Bringing it back.
Absolutely. Stewart Spiked Seltzer. Iconic, just got spiked, baby. Dude, your story about trying to kind of cover up the couch situation. Now, flipping the cushion is just an age-old move. I respect you actually fully trying to fix it. I think I probably would have done the same. And to be honest, I don't think I would have been able to sleep at night just fully flipping the cushion and trying to get away with it.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's funny that once the bloody knife was out, it was over. But I have a funny story actually about my girlfriend with a cover-up act.
Great.
That was really fucking impressive. So
Yeah.
she had a party when her parents were out of town or something, and when she was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And one kid smashed his head through the wall of the basement. So there was just a divot in the wall from a head going through the wall.
High school dudes are such assholes.
Dude. So
Probably trying to do it to be funny.
So dude,
Just the spaz.
she actually figured out how to like replace drywall and spackle and paint.
Oh my God.
And she replaced the wall.
The whole wall?
I don't know if the
Just
whole
the
wall,
patch of
the
it.
piece of the wall, and her parents never knew. So a few years later, very sadly and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the guy whose head went through the wall actually ended up passing away very, very tragically.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't until the funeral that she actually told her parents what had happened.
Well, that seems like the right place.
That is the right time
to drop that news.
It's
because-
almost like a nice anecdote to share in a tough time.
Yeah, and you're never gonna get grounded at a funeral.
Right.
You
That's
know?
that's the time to come clean about that. But I think her parents were just like unbelievably impressed at how hands-on she was.
Yeah.
And I remain unbelievably impressed at how hands-on and committed to us living adult lives she is. Dude, she bought a fucking printer the other day. Do you have a printer? I never thought I was going to have a printer.
I'm more impressed that she spackled a wall as a 17-year-old than going on Amazon and clicking buy. But,
Dude, you think that's impressive? Check this out. She
Yeah.
bought a printer.
dude, high school parties, there are always a couple of ways that your parents will get you, that they'll find out. And one of them is bottle caps.
Oh, interesting.
Or empty cans. You know, you think you've cleaned everything up, and all people put those things down in the most difficult nooks and crannies, and your parents will be, you know, going through a bookshelf. They'll pull out a copy of Pride and Prejudice, and behind that is boom, dead body, Bud
a
Light
Labatt
can.
blue.
Yeah,
cap.
just toast. Game
Dude.
over.
That's really interesting. I wonder if that is a good policy to have, is a no cap policy at the party.
Well,
Cans only.
no cap, baby.
No
Keep
cap.
it honest. Yeah. No cap, no lie.
Keep it real.
It's my sister, I had a party in high school, and I was 2 years younger than my sister. Fortunately, she was there and she let me have it, but she warned me against it when my parents were away. And it definitely got bigger than I had wanted it to be, because I was a sophomore or something, and then the older kids just took advantage of me and started
Classic.
inviting everybody.
Motherfuckers.
And I didn't have the will at the door to turn people away.
right.
You know what I mean? I was new to the school. I didn't know anyone. And they're just flooding in. Nobody gives a shit when they're at your house. They're not, these weren't even like really friends of mine. I didn't know these kids all that well. And I remember we cleaned it all up. And then my mom came home the next day, and it was like sticky rings of where beer cans had sat on certain surfaces that she was like, what's this? What's that? Is that beer? And we sort of denied, and she didn't press. I think it's one of those things she probably
She
knew. And that's just what high school kids do. Let me ask you something. The drinking thing is really hard as parents. Meaning, you hear these stories of like parents that say, well, I'd rather that my kids are having a few beers in the basement and I'm here to supervise, and they're not out drinking and driving.
Mhm.
But then that's their mentality. And next thing you know, police are showing up, and then the kids are getting arrested. And then the parents are getting arrested for housing underage drinking.
So, dude, I used to hear that sort of like waved in my face all the time back in the day. Oh, like if anything happens, we're responsible. I've never heard of the parents getting in trouble for kids throwing a party.
There were newspaper stories I read.
Have you really?
Of it happening. Especially, I remember in towns that had like rival lacrosse teams, because kids would end up getting suspended. And we'd be like, well, how did that happen? And then you'd hear, you know, that the parent was like, you all right there? All good. Julio took one down the wrong
Wrong
pipe
pipe, baby.
Wrong pipe.
Ugh.
So my fear always in drinking in my house was that I was going to get my parents sent to jail. More than even getting in trouble myself.
Right. Dude, I mean, I understand, I guess.
So what's your policy going to be?
Dude, I think like it's funny. I think more about this. Like, I think my policy is going to be don't have a fucking party at my house or I'll kick your ass. I think that's going to be my policy. Don't have a party. And I think, you know, it will this cycle will continue to repeat itself where kids are lying and trying to get away with it anyway. And getting
Okay,
caught.
what about mom, dad, Papa Julio? Would it be all right for me to have 3 friends over to drink beers in the basement?
Ah, man, I don't know, dude. I almost feel like there's this element of like you need to not straight up condone it, but you know that you need to give them some leeway with it if you catch them. I wonder about that.
I think the
know.
second you okay it, then you give a mouse a cookie, gonna want a whole cookie.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Some
He's
crumb.
gonna want a glass of milk.
Yeah, that's it. Sure.
God, that felt so good to correct Francis on the saying.
I don't know those sayings.
That felt so
I
fucking
speak
good.
plain English. I don't speak in cartoon.
No, but dude, you're right, man. I mean, the stakes unfortunately can get really high sometimes in these parties. Like, I remember fucking Kevin Rocco had a party at his house, and like, it got crazy. Like, kids
Yeah.
were fucking running into the woods and shit. Like, like that's so unnecessary for it to get to
Right.
that
So
level.
obviously that's not going to happen. But you know, your responsible honor roll students ask you if they can have their 4 other friends over following, you know, they took their AP European history test. Summer has set in. Can we have 5 people over to play beer pong? Everyone's sleeping over. No one's leaving.
So here's the problem. You have to deceive the other parents in that scenario.
But this is the issue, is the other parents are the problem.
The other parents are the problem.
Because the other parents are the ones who end up telling the fucking school.
Or yeah, it's just, dude, it's like you have to be an ally of the other parents before you are of the other kids in the community.
Yeah.
And granted, if my kid wants to drink at the house with us, if he wants to drink wine, whatever, dude, like, we're a European family. Like, I'm used to that. That's like not a crazy thing. But like at the same token, it's like if your friends want to come over and drink beers in the basement, I mean, I'd have to talk to the kids' parents first.
Okay, so what if your son comes to you and says, "Mom, Dad, I know this is putting you in a really uncomfortable position, but I was hoping to have 5 friends over and we're all going to try on bird dogs." What's your response to that?
I'd be like, that's a really good decision because at some point tonight, after you have your 12th beer, you're going to decide it's a good idea to jump into the above ground pool. And it'll be nice to be wearing a versatile pair of shorts that you can swim in.
Got to have a pretty big vertical to jump into an above ground pool.
But make sure you call us before you decide to do that
And
because
the
we need
best
to
shorts,
supervise you.
Yeah. The best shorts for that crazy box jump you got to do to get into your above ground pool from the ground is the bird dogs. There's no
bird disease.
restriction. The built-in underwear liner moves with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't bunch. It doesn't ride up. It makes underwear obsolete.
So comfortable.
We're wearing them right now. We love them ourselves. You know them. That's birddogs.com. Promo code OOPS. You get something. Life of comfort. Some kind of treat.
Yeah.
Go get some bird dogs for the summer, guys. It's too sad for you not to have them at this point.
Need a pair of bird dogs.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Dude, I just think that, the problem with kids is that you give them some leeway and they just continue to take.
That's it.
Because they're kids and they don't know how to not do that yet. And if you let them start drinking beers, who knows what the fuck they're going to start doing.
Yeah, you define yourselves as the cool parents if you
Right.
even let it slide just one time.
Dude, it's so funny now that I think back on it. Like, we've talked about this a little before, but the idea of wanting to be the cool parent, you're a fucking loser, dude. Who cares what high school kids think of you?
Yeah.
You want to be the cool dad? Like, you're not cool, dude.
You're not, yeah, what are they going to invite you to prom?
Dude, anyone's dad who was too cool about that shit, I now judge as an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, bro.
What makes a parent a cool parent in your mind? Who were the parents where you're like, they're cool, I admire these people? Maybe even, and this is sad to say, I wish my parents were more like that. And by the way, everyone I feel like sometimes has that thought, and they're never right. Because everyone's parents, there's something that people are dealing with that sucks for them too.
Mhm. It's funny. It's hard to put my finger on now because I think back on my friends' parents and I can't help but think about it through the lens of me as a high school kid. So it's hard to really accurately assess who I currently deem as having been cool parents. I think my parents were pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't let me fucking drink beers at the house, but that doesn't mean I don't think they're cool.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I think overall they're pretty cool people.
I think my parents were very cool. They would let me drink beers at the house, but it was always, I always felt so guilty for pushing them to let it happen.
Interesting.
But if it did, it was only ever like a couple people,
Right.
you know? And it was really towards the end of high school. I didn't drink until my senior year, really.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was pretty straight edge until then.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, junior year I got into it a little, but you know I had gotten into weed my junior year, the summer going into my junior year, and I was really excited about that. I felt like such a badass. People, you got to remember. I mean, that was 2004, 5. Back then, weed was like
The forbidden fruit.
as criminal as crack. You had to be so secretive.
Yeah. The weed isn't a drug argument was like still pretty taboo.
Acquiring marijuana, if someone we knew had it, that person was the gatekeeper for the evening.
Right.
We need to be near that guy because we want to just see. Hopefully, he'll pass us the bowl.
What did you
one
guys
time.
smoke with? Did you smoke out of a bowl usually in high school?
Yeah,
Same
we
with
didn't.
us.
We didn't know how to do joints or any of that.
Yeah,
shit.
that was like a city kid thing.
But dude, we also did like gravity bongs, reverse.
Yeah.
I would create gravity bongs using milk. You know,
yeah,
quartz.
yeah, same.
Oakhurst milk quartz. I would get tinfoil, poke little holes in it with a toothpick, fill it with water, cut a hole in the bottom, plug
it
that hole
down,
with
yeah.
duct tape, and then light the bowl of tinfoil and then let the water drain,
Yeah.
fill the thing with smoke, and then pass around that thing.
Isn't it funny how the goal then was to be as unfunctional as possible? That was the goal. You're like, how can I get higher off of this?
Yeah.
And just making all these crazy fucking devices. There was a bong. I've talked about this before on the pod, but like this kid I knew had a 5-foot bong. You had to stand on a couch to fucking smoke this thing.
Jeez.
And then you just be comatose for like the rest of the night. Your night was over.
It's over. One hit, gone.
One hit wonder, dude. But yeah, it was funny. Like kids would always like, they would get this really fancy pipe, like a bowl, and then
They'd name it.
yes, I was just gonna say it. There was the King.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy had this one named the King, and then the cops took the King or something, or the King broke. It was this whole like ski thing. Like, oh, the King, dude, I miss the King.
We had a friend who got into blowing glass,
Oh, that's crazy.
which was actually really cool. He had one of those crazy kilns or torches in his barn, and he got into it. And he could make you a little one-hitter in like 10 minutes.
That's crazy, dude.
And then he would make pieces that were a little bit, he wasn't making like wine glasses, but he could make you a piece, and a spoon or whatever, and get your name written on it in funky
That's sick.
glass. It was really cool.
That is cool.
George Reiki, cool guy.
I do remember, dude, people talking about that. They'd be like, "Oh, this one's double blown."
Yeah.
There was this like head shop.
That kid, by the way, was one of the kids that I was fighting with when I got the shit kicked out of me by that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on my team. Yeah,
Dude, that's great.
George Reiki.
Awesome. Bless his heart.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for joining us in this Midsommar episode. By the way, if you haven't seen that movie, watch that
That movie's
movie,
awesome.
Midsommar. It's crazy.
It's a crazy movie.
Stays with you. It's a little jarring, and there are some very upsetting images.
The ending is upsetting. I found it upsetting.
Yeah, it's eerie.
Midsummer, check it out.
Yeah, check out Midsummer. We are Oops the Podcast. We would love it if you would send us your stories or thoughts or questions, solicitations for advice to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Join my Patreon, please. I'd love it if you would.
And I'm going to be at the DC Improv Thursday through Saturday this week.
What fun. It's a really good club.
Yeah, so come check that out. That should be fun. And check out some of my travel vids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Spread the word. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.